Damn that monster. It's his fault that I'm in this hellhole. If it wasn't for his murderous crimes, I would be free with my family. I'm walking away in the strange white room, where no one answers my pleas. Even now, as I yell for them to release me, let me stop Jeff, they ignorantly walk by the small window on my door. I do not understand why I was locked away like this. All I ever wanted was to stop that fiend, that evil monster. Yet I remain trapped here, unable to. Do they not realize the danger they are in? Jeff is still out there claiming more victims each day while they sit around with their thumbs up their asses. I release a sigh and walk to a small barred window of my prison to gaze out at the people meandering below. Are these people all mental? Why are they all wearing the same color clothes? I stare at them quietly for a while before shrugging it off, deciding that they must be members of some sort of cult. Growing tired of the view, I make my way back and take a seat on my small dingy mattress in the corner. I need to find a way out of here. I'm the only one who is able to bring an F and N to Jeff the Killer. And how ironic that it is all thanks to the wicked bastard himself. Almost a sort of poetic justice, really. I laugh quietly, thinking about how he set his own demise into motion when he murdered my family. He of course attempted to off me as well, but obviously it didn't quite work out as he has planned. Oh no, it backfired miserably on the poor fool. He set me ablaze, I was reborn. I am the demon that will bring an end to his reign of terror. I am Jane the Savior, and there's nothing he can do to prevent me from attaining my revenge. I still cannot fathom how my captors would even dare to call me a murderer, Jane the Killer. Is that what they have started to call me? How dare they? I scoff and lean my back against the wall. I'm no killer. In fact, I am not able to stomach even the sight of blood after all the things I have witnessed, the countless gallons of blood I have seen shed, no, the numberless mangled faces of corpses, and the insane ranting scrawled in blood on the walls of the poor victims' houses. Having become enraged from relieving my memories, I rise up quickly from the dirty mattress and storm to the bolted door. In a fit rage, I beat on it as hard as I can muster and scream, "Let me out, you fuckers! Do you not realize that Jeff is out there killing more innocent people while you keep me locked away?" While I scream in vain, a woman in a long jacket drifts past the small inside window. I yell out and kick the door to no avail before finally growing tired and take to pacing back and forth. It's become my daily routine. I have been here for what feels like weeks. It's becoming unbearable. I do not know how much longer I can take it. I have finally reached my limit. I will break free. My eyes scan the room frantically before resting upon the small wooden chair in the corner of my room. I rush over and grab it by the leg, smashing it against the window of the bolted door, shattering it loudly. Quickly, I work my arm through the small opening and furiously feel around the door handle. My fingers grasp the cool metal, and I fling the door open before making a mad dash into the hallway. The woman in the white jacket begins to chase me along with her lackeys, but I am too quick for her, chuckling as I round the corner. I am unaware of the man gaining on me until suddenly I feel a sharp pain in my neck. He grabs a hold of me and injects the rest of whatever poison is in the needle, and I begin to black out. As I wake up, I become aware of the fact that I am in a strange jacket that keeps my arm bound tightly against my chest, and I begin to struggle with it. "Jane, please stop. You'll only hurt yourself if you keep this up." Startled, I look around the room to see where the voice was coming from. It's her. It's that damn woman in the white jacket. "Let me go. You must release me. Do you not know I was cut off by her stern sign? Jane, do you need to stop with these delusions? This Jeff the Killer is not real. He does not exist." How could she so openly deny the fact that he is real? Did she not see the newspapers depicting his crimes, or was she just that fucking stupid? I glared at her angrily and speak with a low, guttural voice. You're working for him, aren't you, you traitorous bitch? Her features fell as if she was almost saddened by what I had said. She frowned and looked at a clipboard before speaking. I do not want to do things this way, Jane. I was hoping that given time and treatment, you would see the truth on your own. But it does not seem to matter how many medications we put on and how many sessions we have together. She summarily reaches into the bag and resting against the chair she sits in. She pulls out a manila envelope. I look at it curiously, wondering just what she meant by medications and sessions. I do not recall ever meeting with this particular woman before today. I gaze off as I become lost with my thoughts. She opens the envelope before pulling out a few pictures. Jane, I want you to look at this. Does this look familiar to you? She questions as she holds out a picture of a quaint-looking home. My eyes widen in shock. That's my house! Or at least it used to be, before Jeff killed my family and set it ablaze. She sighs again and pulls out another picture. This one depicting a horrible murder scene. Jeff did not do this to your family. Think, Jane. Think back to the day it happened. You need to remember the truth. I stare at the picture, my eyes welling up with tears as she keeps her gaze locked onto my face. Why would you show this to me? I shout as I close my eyes tightly to escape these horrible images. After putting the picture away, she looks at me with a strained expression before going quiet. I sniffle and stare at the ceiling with a pained expression as she begins to speak again. Jeff the Killer does not exist. He is nothing but a story meant to scare individuals for fun. I wince as I get a flashback of my friends and I giggling and talking as we drew him in art class. Confused by the sudden image, I cry out and start to fight against the jacket restraining my movement. He did not murder your family, Jane. Think about it. How could someone who does not exist kill others? It is simply not possible. You need to remember who is truly responsible for their death. She continues to bore me with her cold eyes as I try harder and harder, fighting the countless images that begin to flow in my mind. Suddenly, everything goes blank. As I gasped loudly, I sat up in my bed, in my room. I looked around my surroundings while panting heaviously, confused as to what just happened. Fuck, I stuttered. Was it all just a dream? I remained there for a while, before finally working up the nerve to get up and peek at my door. I listened quietly to the rest of my house and heard my mother and older sister speaking in the kitchen downstairs. I let out a great sign of relief before going to get ready for school. While doing so, I recalled my nightmare. Jeff the Killer had broken into my room and had woken me up, only to tell me to go to sleep. I had screamed in vain, and he proceeded to kill me in the most brutal way. I chuckled nervously as I applied a few layers of dark makeup around my eyes. Wait till my friend hear about this one. It will totally outdo Sally's Jeff dream. Finishing my makeup, I slip into my favorite black dress and combat boots before grabbing my bag and heading downstairs for breakfast. Oh great, the freak has decided to join us. You're going for the raccoon look today. My sister pointed at my eyeliner as she made her snotty remark. Oh fuck you, Lily. Not everybody wants to be a silicone Barbie written doll like you. Silicone written Barbie doll like you. I glared at her as my mother sighed. Can't you two at least pretend to like each other? She murmured, before leaving the room to start the laundry. Lily rolled her eyes and finished making her breakfast before looking back at me. Maybe if you didn't read those stupid Jake the Murderer stories, you would have more time to dress like a proper woman and not like a corpse. I slammed my fist down on the table, causing her to jump. It's Jeff the Killer,
Beyond stories, he's real, I yelled angrily. Yeah, at the age of 13. She crossed her arms and gave me a catty look as she spoke. There you go again with your imaginary boyfriend. Just shut the fuck up. And get a life, Jade. This is why no one talks to you except for those fucking freaks you call friends. And no one wants to date the weird-ass girl who crosses on a made-up dude who murders people. I mean, I cut her off by knocking everything off the table as I got off, shattering to the floor. Shut the fuck up, Lily. I had enough of your bullshit lies. He's real, and I wish he could just fucking kill you. She looked at me with a startled expression as I slowly walked towards her. She began to back away, giving one last remark as she tried to look imitating. If he was real and he could kill me, why doesn't he do it now? Oh wait, that's right, he's fake. I screamed in anger, grabbing one of the large kitchen knife off the counter before driving it into her neck without hesitation. She looked at me in horror as she fell into the floor and made a soft gurgling sound while blood oozed out from the puncture wound. I gave a Chesler grin? I can't read that name. Stabbing her repeatedly, over and over until she stopped moving. I laughed and licked her blood from my lips, before going into the laundry room to confront my mother as to why she never stood up for me. She had her back to me as I shuddered with anticipation as I crept behind her silently as she sang along to a horrible Christian rock. I quickly cupped my hand over her mouth and slit her throat, deciding I would be better off without her and her favoritism. I released her from my grip and let her head slam against the counter before her lifeless body collapsed to the ground. I stood there perfectly still for what seemed like hours, when in reality was only a few moments before turning to leave the laundry room. I shuddered slightly to the sensation of my mother's and sister's blood running down my fingertips as I made my way upstairs towards the master bedroom, and my father was still most likely sleeping. Gripping the handle of the blade lightly in my hand, I crept inside the threshold silently towards my father's sleeping figure. Under the covers, I knelt down beside the bed before listening to his soft snoring as I stared at him, wide-eyed and smiling from ear to ear. Eventually, I grew tired of just sitting there waiting for my father's awakening. So I stumbled over to the window. Just as I was going to look down at the street below, I saw him gazing back at me intently on the other side of the glass. I smiled brightly and put my bloodied hands against its cool surface, and he did the same. I knew Jeff was real, and now there he was, standing before my very eyes, looking at me with a loving expression. But something was off. Where was his beautiful, maniacal grin that I knew and loved? He gave me an unexpected smile and tilted his head to the side as I became aware of what I had to do. I pressed the knife against the glass, and he somehow managed to grab it. I watched with admiration as he slipped the blade into the corner of his mouth and jaggedly sliced his cheeks open from ear to ear. I cackled darkly as I stared at him through the window. After completing his smile, I heard a sleepy groan, alerting me that my father had suddenly started to come to. I turned slightly, looking back at him as he started to speak. "Good morning, sweetie. Why haven't you started school yet?" His words stuck in his throat. and his eyes widened in horror. "Oh God, Jane!" He practically whimpered as he rushed over to me. "What the fuck happened to you? Who cut your face?" He tugged his shirt off quickly and tried to stop me from bleeding from my mutilated cheeks. I looked at the window from the corner of my eyes. While he did so, I noticed that Jeff had vanished. Pure rage bubbled up inside me, knowing that my father scared Jeff away from me when we had finally united. I tightened my grip around the blade and shoved my father away before rising to my feet. He looked up at me with confusion and a shock for a moment as I stood there, shuddering violently. "Jade," his voice quivering as he spoke. My head flopped to the side as I stared him down. "You know what, Daddy?" I paused for a moment before practically growling. "You should fucking go to sleep." I lunged at him. I never understood why they used that word. And stabbed him repeatedly in the face, cutting away chunk upon chunk of flesh and bone. Eventually, I ran out of steam and got off of his mangled corpse. Just standing above him, panting heavily as I tried to regain my breath. Slowly, I sought to become of my actions and realized I am back in the white room, with the doctor staring intently at me. I finally know who had murdered my family in cold blood. I was the monster all along. There was never really a monstrous, wide-eyed intruder, beings like that do not really exist in reality. Monsters live in the dark, inside of our own beings. What have I done? I scream as I break down and sob loudly at the realization of my own crimes. My family. I fucking killed them. The doctor frowns and looked at me with sadness in her eyes as she speaks softly. "I'm glad you finally remember, Jane. This is an important step to your recovery." She sighs softly as she retrieves the photograph of my burning home and shows me. "Do you remember what you did next?" She asks as I gaze at it weakly, barely able to see through my tears. I douse the entire house in gasoline. I whimper softly before continuing. Including myself, before I set it all ablaze. Suddenly, I feel her warm hand rest against mine, squeezing it gently in an enough effort to try and comfort me. "Don't be too hard on yourself, Jane. This horrible mistake is entirely your fault. I know it's difficult to understand this, but you're sick, Jane. Your parents should have seen the warning signs of your schizophrenia and taken you into a physician to be evaluated. But you don't have to be this way forever. With proper medication and time, you will recover. Maybe not the way you were before this tragedy, but to some state of normality." She smiles sadly as she unbuckles the restraints on the straitjacket that kept my arms pinned to my chest. I sat up looking small window to my left as I sniffle and wipe my nose and cough me slightly. I always liked the windows in the exam room. They didn't have that dingy tin like my little one did, and that view wasn't broken up by those claustrophobic bars. "You should rest, Jane. After the big drill we had today, you must be exhausted," she states quietly as she lays me down gently, rocking me into bed. "You can continue more in the more." I cut her off. "I don't want to fucking continue. I want to die. I don't deserve to live after what I've done." But the tears streamed down my face as I glared at her with sadness in my eyes. The doctor signs and tries to tuck me back in as I struggle and smack at her hands as I continue to rant. Finally having enough, she forces me down, pinning me to the bed as she tries to calm me. "Jane, you need to sleep." My vision blurs as I looked up at her in horror, her frown forming into a wide bloody grin. "Go to sleep, Jane." My eyes widened in horror as she completely dissolves away, leaving that hellspawn in her place. I scream angrily as I begin to trash around. "You did this to me, Jeff. I'm going to fucking massacre you." I kick him in the chest, sending him flying back. I jump up as he holds himself, trying to regain his breath, as I regain the confining jacket off and wrap it around his throat, pinning him to the wall as I constrict the fabric away from his area. He chuckles darkly and struggles with me in a panic as I strangle him. Eventually he weakens and stops, trying to make me release my grip on the jacket. I let go and grab handful of his hand on either side of his head and jerk it to the side, snapping his neck easily. I slowly fall to the ground as I lean against his corpse while it slides to the floor. After a short while, I got up and wandered to the window to enjoy the soft winter sun, reveling in the fact he was finally gone, but he wasn't. And there on the other side of the glass, smiling back at me, was his fucking face. Anger boiled up inside of me for a brief moment before he spoke. "Don't you see, Jane? You are me. I was created in your image," he chuckled and brought a hand up to his cheek, sticking a finger into the slit there, and oddly enough, I found myself doing the same. Feeling the moist warmth of my mouth on my index finger, I frowned in confusion, and he continued, "You carved your smile in my own reflection. It wasn't there before, was it? Remember?" I dropped my hand to my side as my voice shook softly. I am you." He nodded and smiled darkly. "And I am you. We are one." I felt my stomach churn at this realization and looked down from the reflection. I am sick, and I can see that now. And I realize incredibly mental I have been. How I denied everything, even though it was right in front of me all along. I created Jeff in my mind, making him an alter ego after hearing his stories about how he killed those bullies and my family. He had freed himself, and even though I never wanted to murder anyone, I envied that about him. Stepping away from my window for a moment, I fight back tears. It was almost ironic that the person I have hated and wanted to act out of revenge upon has been within me all these years. Slowly, I turned back to the window and managed to pry it open. As I stared down at the gardens of the mental institution 8 stories below me, I smile sadly. As I climb over the windowsill, my feet dangling below me as I sit upon it, I let out one final exhale before pushing myself off the building. A loud crack echoes through the air, silencing every sound as my body impacts the ground. My vision blackens, and I give one last smile as I barely form my last sentence. I finally killed Jeff before my life slipped away.